Welcome back. Some British citizens want a do-over. They are petitioning the UK government for a second EU referendum. With nearly 3.7 million signatures as of today, Parliament considers all petitions that garner more than 100,000 signatures. We want to bring in Guttenberg, former economics minister under German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Good to see you again, KT. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Hello from Warsaw.
Hello to Warsaw. Do you think we will see a redo?
I actually don't see it. It's first of all we have to consider that we had an enormous high turnout in the first referendum of 72%. So it is already a vote that reflects the broad population. And of course it is not binding, and many people may just have woken up and see what kind of disaster has occurred. But that's one reason why I don't see. The second reason is it will tear the Tory party apart. It is something which the Conservatives probably won't survive. So from a political point of view, it's not feasible to say, well, sorry, oops, we didn't mean it. Actually, it happened too quick. So those are not political standards where you gain credibility.
There are some in Germany this morning that are saying that the EU will now be made stronger, that the Brits were never really a part of it emotionally. They just used it as a business transaction or for economics. Do you think that that's true?
Well, of course, we do need to reform the European Union. It was extremely flawed, and many of the reasons that led to the outcome of last Friday are also a reflection of the weaknesses and of the deficits we have seen in the EU. But to come up now and call for immediate strengthening, especially in a way how the president of the EU Commission did it this morning, who probably won the prize for the dumbest statement of the day, when he actually asked to say, well, let's now deepen and strengthen the Eurozone. Of all places, the Eurozone. The Eurozone actually stands for 17 member states only, and that would send an extremely tough and almost even hostile signal to the 10 member states who are not member of the Eurozone. So you see a lot of chaos at the very moment, and also Germany is not united in the leadership of how to act right now.
KT, I'd like to just ask, do you think that this is an indication that other European countries are going to learn the lessons of what has just happened in Great Britain? Will they realize that their people are tired and frustrated of feeling left out, disconnected from their governments, and over-regulated and overburdened?
It is certainly a point we see all over the Western world right now, that there is a certain fatigue and even anger towards the establishment. That's not only a European thing, you have it in the US as well. I can only hope that there is a lessons learned element in the whole thing right now. At the same time, we need the necessary leadership for that, and not a leadership that just hesitates, a leadership that just say, oh, let's go kick the can down the road. That's not an answer to that. So it asks for courage, it asks for new concepts for the European Union, but this is nothing that can happen within 1 or 2 nights or within a week after such a weekend. So there is an utmost necessity to reform the European Union. There's an utmost necessity to translate the complexities of the European Union to the people who feel left alone.
KT, let me ask you about the reaction to this in global markets. You're seeing massive sell-offs throughout the financial services sector. You've got companies like Barclays, which was down at the limit that it was halted earlier, RBS, Credit Suisse. All the European lenders are plummeting right now. Even the U.S. lenders are actually down in the pre-market. Is this justified given the road ahead? And what does the road ahead look like? What does the next 2 years look like in terms of the UK unwinding from the EU?
First of all, we have to ask ourselves, how will the next 3 months look alike? There is a clear risk that we will be in a substantial limbo, because the Tory party will wait and re-vote its own leadership, or re-elect its own leadership. At the same time, the EU cannot step forward and already make some kind of concessions towards whatever new government we will see in the UK. So I expect the markets being very unstable for the next weeks and months to come, if and especially if the UK does not decide to opt for Article 50.
Okay, so in terms of the UK formally leaving the EU, walk us through that. How does that look?
Well, of course, it is first of all a decision by the UK. The UK has to enact this infamous Article 50, which means officially leaving the EU, and then the procedures can start. The downside of the whole thing is that the procedures are not that clear, because it is the first time ever. There is no precedent in history, and my impression, looking at all the statements of today and the panic mode in which the continent still is acting right now, is that there is no credible plan B, neither in Brussels nor in any of the member states. There's everything but coherence in that very regard. So 2 years it takes at least to overcome all the complex and complicated issues which we are facing at the moment.
All right. Great insights from you, KT. Thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. KT's Guttenberg there. Coming